This letter from Blake Lively has to go in the history books. It needs to go down. Psychologists need to study this. Like, if you're going to major in psychology and you're going to treat people for narcissism, for any type of personality disorders, I don't mean to diagnose the woman, but this letter needs to be studied moving forward. It needs to be hung in the Louvre, actually. It's a piece of art if you think about it. The gall, the nerve, grab a snack. Oh, also grab something to drink because you might choke on a word salad. Meet me on the other side. Let me catch you up. F around and find out. Hello there, beautiful people, and welcome back to a brand new episode of F Around and Find Out. I'm your host, Elsie. I appreciate you for being here. I thank you for the support. Thank you guys once again for 30,000 subscribers. If you haven't already subscribed, please make sure to do so before you exit this video. We might be here a second, not because I have a lot to say, but because Blake Lively has 25 pages of gibberish to tell us. It's more like 6 on her own and the rest is gibberish from other people. But we're finally getting to talk about the PGA letter. And the reason I'm just now talking about it, I've looked at that letter for a week. I've stared at it for a week. And every time I look at it, every time I read it, I'm beside myself. I'm shocked. I can't believe what I'm reading. Somebody actually sat down and wrote this. And her name is Blake Lively. The nerve at certain points of that letter, and it's almost like, you all have that one person in your life, right? We all have that family member, that friend, whomever, who creates issues just to solve them and then wait for their praise, wait for their thanks, wait for gratitude to be shown. That is Blake Lively. That is Ryan Reynolds. The amount of times this woman says in this PGA letter, oh, I did this, which saved the production money. I'm like, okay, but your wardrobe put the production way over budget, like $500,000 over budget. So you had to find ways to save production money to make it make sense. Now, maybe it's because I'm African or I'm Black, or maybe I'm going back to the African thing, but there's something about wearing somebody else's clothes that is very, very frowned upon in a weird way in my culture. Like, now, I'm not talking about buying secondhand clothing. That's different. Somebody giving you the clothes off their back and making it be known they did it for you. It's just very eerie, and we don't get down like that a lot, at least in my culture. We're going to get to a part in this PGA mark where Blake Lively tells the entire world Isabella Farah didn't have any clothes to wear, so she dressed her. Why would you tell the PGA that? We'll get to it, but for now, let's just start reading the letter. And like I said, grab something to drink. I have a bottle of water here with me because I'm going to need it. I'm going to need it. You're going to need it. It's a lot to get through. And at certain points when I've read this, I've had to catch a break and drink something because you cannot get through this cold turkey. You need a break to drink something. Dear PGA, I'm writing with a meaningful urgency and also respect. I'm sorry, but I'm asking for your attention to this in a crunch time period. I'm positive you have matters much more significant than this. I hate a person who fakes care about your time. Telling me I have more important things to do, like saying to Ben Affleck and everybody else, I know you guys have more important things to do, but spare me an hour, 58 minutes of your time. Telling these people they have more significant things to worry about and things to do, but then sending them a 25-page document to look at, which you spend 6 of those pages talking about yourself, is crazy. But I bare my heart to you, asking for you to take a look at my notes, as this film and my work in it off camera means more to me than anything I've done in my 20-year career. I think it's important we remember 20-year career. I also think this is the only document the Wayfair parties need to show a jury. If I'm on the jury and I see this PGA letter, why are we here? Why are you wasting our time? Because what this letter shows me is how to get to the proper people, to get the proper attention, to get what you want. Why didn't you go to SAG? Why wouldn't you have gone to SAG when you claimed everything happening was happening to you? The same energy you used to gather everybody on the set to write these recommendation letters for you, which she has about 16 recommendation letters for her to get a PGA mark, is the same energy you could have used. Where was the good sense that you had to say, oh, I need a PGA mark. Let me talk to 16 department heads and pretty much accost them into writing new recommendation letters? But you seem to have lost all your good sense that God gave you when it came time to go to SAG. But when it came time to go to SAG to report your SH, your alleged SH, somehow you didn't know what to do. In your 20 years of being in this industry, you don't know what to do when you're being SH'd, but you seem to know exactly what to do when you need a PGA mark. But I don't want to get too far off topic because there's more. There's been a recent update / change with regard to my official role in the upcoming film It Ends With Us, released on August 9th. Just a few days ago, I was officially granted a title producer. By who? Yourself? After a year and a half of asking and working tirelessly to prove the validity of that title, I've produced every moment of this film, from pre-production through production into post and now into marketing and worldwide release. I'm grateful that a contract has now been revised to reflect the immense work that I put in. We also remember you saying you like to be hired as an actor. Then when you go in, you pull the rug from under the director, the producer, everybody, and you show your teeth. We remember that. Don't you ever forget it in your life. We remember you saying that. I'm writing to ask for the great honor of receiving the PGA tag. I don't take that lightly. In our household, nobody gives a shit what you do in your house. But okay. In our household, that's the highest honor of film, in film. So I understand the gravity of the ask. I also understand the absurdity of asking this late. So why are you wasting my time? If I'm reading this, every step of the way, get to the fucking point, please. Thank you. Without the official title of producer, my hands were tied. I couldn't apply when I wanted to. No crew would tick me in the box of producers who should receive the tag when pulled. I'm pleading now because I'm confident with all my soul that if you saw the work that I did on this film, you would agree that this mark, without question, is deserved. I'll lay out how we got here below because I appreciate that this isn't the way the process usually works. Don't lay shit out. Get to the point. If you know I'm busy, why are you wasting my time? You granted a PGA tag to two producers, Alex Sachs and Jamie Heath, on April 18th. I'm in full support of their tags. My understanding is that they both are in support of mine. I have a note from Alex Sachs attached below, fix your mistakes, along with 16 other department heads. And Jamie, if asked, I'm sure would confirm the work I did. Yeah, you forced him to write a letter, if asked. So much has changed since they filed for the tag, the most significant being that the cut of the film that was selected to be released is my cut. The cut that nobody asked you for, you forced yourself to make? Okay, which I'll lay out in more detail later. Please don't. Please just don't fucking do it. But I imagine you appreciate the gravity of the advancement alone since April 18th. As to not get too bogged down in more of the get to the fucking point of the why now details, I'll focus on the facts of the work. Pronto, please. That I did in each stage of production, bulleted out below. I apologize for how dense it is. Mora? As a person who just started watching Korean series, every time I got to a point where Blake pissed me off, I was like, Mora? Moragu? Which is like, what? What? My Korean kept coming out. How dense it is. But it's important to me to lay out all I've done when asking for such significant consideration from you all at the PGA. I'm changing the font to make this read as easy as possible. Is she okay? Is this woman well? I'm going to try to get through this without, I might skip some just because I'm annoyed. I led the location shift from Boston to New Jersey and helped solve all costs and schedule logistics associated. Okay, the part you left out is you wanted to come to New Jersey to film instead of Boston because you didn't want to be there away from your family, even though you signed up to do a job. The reason you had to help fix the cost is you helped cause the problem. You weren't doing anything special. You weren't doing anybody any favors. You were doing yourself a favor. I personally called and wrote emails to crew and put forth name tags. You made people wear name tags. Nobody wanted to do that shit. That was an inconvenience for them. I identified and onboarded freelance. Nobody gives a shit. I reviewed and reshaped a creative production. Nobody cares. I called in favors with home design. Nobody cares. I reviewed and reshaped creative. Nobody cares. I called in favors with fashion contacts to get items loaned, discounted, or gifted to save costume design costs. Well, babes, when you take the costume department budget from 100 and something thousand for everybody to over 600,000, yeah, you might as well make some calls and fix the problem you caused. Why didn't you tell them that? I reviewed and reshaped the creative. I did outreach for florists all over Instagram. I went through hundreds of casting tapes to help find the rest of the cast, including our Atlas, our Star Atlas, Young Lily, Young Atlas, and Jenny Bloom. I rewrote the script to improve the role of nobody asked you, babe. Nobody asked you. And apparently your husband was the one rewriting because we know you can't read or write. Your husband probably wrote this goddamn email. I personally identified and put forth Amy Morton to play Jenny Bloom. I worked alongside my agents after apparently Brendan Sklenar didn't want the role. Nobody wanted the role. So she fixed the script to make people want the role. Even Brendan Sklenar said he didn't want the role. So she called them, begged him, and wrote him a letter. Then he finally accepted. You should have left him alone. You should have left his ass alone too. I screen tested with all options for Atlas. That's your job. That's your job. Screen testing is not like you didn't do something amazing. Screen testing with a possible love interest, screen testing with other actors is part of the job. You didn't do anything amazing. I gave the director references for the characters and the dialogue and the visuals. So full of shit. I zoomed with every cast member to get their, oh, please. I then did significant rewrites of the scripts. You already taught us that. I also addressed scheduling, financial location, because you were fucking up the schedule. You couldn't go to work because you were sick. Your kids were sick. Your husband was sick. Your husband's left nut was lost. You had COVID. You were going to concerts. You caused these problems. So you had to fix them. You don't deserve a PGA mark for fixing something you broke. Water break. I'm back. I pushed the studio distributor director to change the rating of the film from R to PG-13. It wasn't you. There was something they were already discussing. Jesus Christ. We're going to skip to production. I constantly broke schedule and budget. Please don't make me laugh. I constantly broke schedule and budget in pre-production and then daily and often hourly during production. I unfortunately was responsible for the firing. You should tell them she's trying to say she fixed the scheduling and everything. No, you fucked it up. So you had to fix it. I unfortunately was responsible for firing our first AD, Julie. She claimed Julie was doing a bad job. Keep in mind, Julie was the one that said somebody should bring a toothpick for Blake Lively. The moment Julie told everybody Blake Lively had something in her teeth and needed a toothpick, Julie had to go. She said she has 20 years experience, and to see that the days were not being boarded right and they weren't getting work done, it was just too much for her. Julie had to go. I flagged security risk and pushed to execute getting the entire crew badges. Nobody wanted that shit. That was just you. You thought you were bigger than the fucking program. You wanted everybody on set to, oh my God, Blake is on set. Where's your name badge? You wanted people to scramble when you were around. Oh, I flagged and had the production name change as an alias as it stands out in my experience. This change, all signs for the location, call sheet, transportation. Again, you thought you were bigger than the program. Nobody gives a shit if Blake Lively's on a set. You are not Meryl Streep. You're not Angela Bassett. Blake, don't piss me off. I helped to block staging of every scene for shooting efficiency, oftentimes asking to block. Well, when you don't show up to work when you're supposed to, and you cause the production immense stress and they have to make stuff work around you, it only makes sense that you show up and help fix what you broke. Is this a theme of your letter? I fix what I broke. I fix what I broke. Give me a PGA mark. I deserve. Let me not get mad quite yet. When we came back after the strikes, I was writing as we were shooting to meet real-time hurdles and demands with regard to the schedule, budget, and creative needs. Because you couldn't come back when they wanted you to come back in November. Then you couldn't come back in December. Then you wanted to come back in January. The theme of this is, that's the theme. You get it. You get it now, right? I fixed what I broke. I helped fix what I fucked up. Therefore, give me a producer credit. Okay. I reviewed and instated COVID protocols when we had an outbreak. Babe, you got sick. Your husband got you sick. Leave us alone. Leave us alone, please. This is one of my favorite parts, by the way. I manage the politics and HR concerns on a daily basis, acting as an intermediary to keep crew and cast engaged, safe, and on board. Wait, so you are responsible for the HR stuff? How come you didn't report your SH appropriately? You didn't know to go to SAG? I mean, after your 20 years of experience that you tell us here, you would think you would know what to do, right? The same way you knew how to get this letter to the PGA is the same way you'd have known what to do with SAG. But somehow that didn't cross your mind. And also, you guys are catching on the IIIs and all the things she did and all the power she had. I mean, with all the power you had on this set, how are you SH'd and it didn't get reported properly? If I'm on the jury, don't piss me off, ma'am. A person on this jury coming from a regular 9-to-5 job where they have real problems, having this read to them is going to be pissed off. Do you understand me? Why are you wasting their time like this? I was able to omit 3+ days of shooting via rethinking the schedule. Yeah, because you had to be at a concert. You had to be with your husband. You had to go to London. You had to go to Vancouver. You had to be places. Everything you did was for your benefit. Jesus Christ. I was the director's partner. Hmm. Essential water, come see me about a promotion. That's all I drink. If you guys have ever seen me filming and drinking water when we had lives, this is all I drink. I deserve some money. Okay. Thank you guys. We're going to read that again. I was the director's partner in all creative and logistic concerns, helping to execute the best outcome for the film. I would push back when needed. I would support when needed. Don't laugh. Don't laugh, guys. Keep it together. The film is and was always my top priority. I said don't laugh. Keep it together, guys. Don't laugh. This is serious. I watched the monitor between every take to be sure everything that ended up on the screen from every department was the best. Servicing the film and led the changes needed to get there when applicable. Okay, so when you said they had you naked on the table that everybody could see you or whatever, that's not true. You watched the monitor. You knew what was happening. You knew what was being shot. And all the security risk and everything you claimed, somehow you said they left you naked on the table with a thin piece of fabric, aka underwear, briefs that we saw you had on. I'm sorry, this letter is either, and I know you love the word amalgamation, but it's not. This is the one time it cannot be two things, can be true at the same time. You cannot have no power and yet have all of this power. And I love it. This is my favorite thing so far is the fact that you actually sat down and wrote this letter and submitted it. I love it so much because the case is done for. You know that. I hope you know that. I led hiring a new intimacy coordinator and intimacy doubles to help block out sensitive scenes for both safety and shooting efficiency. Fuck you. I helped to manage the logistics and protections of the closed set, the same closed set you said you didn't have when you were giving birth. And when there were oversights, I stopped production to make sure the set was safe and compliant with all player nudity riders and contracts. But you said you were not on a closed set when you gave birth. You said you had to compromise that everybody had to see your hoo-ha. Did you lie about that or are you lying here? Which one is it? I choose to believe you here. You're telling the truth here, okay? Oh my God. I helped manage logistics, protections. I made sure cast members had mini green rooms on set when I noticed the time we lost to cast leaving to go back to their more distant green rooms. So you wanted green rooms. So you decided you're going to have one, but it would look crazy if it's just you. So everybody can just have one there. Great. Okay. I called and led meetings with all department heads, the studio, the distributor, blah, blah, blah. Post-production. I have spent minimum 10 hours a day, every day since April 22nd on the post of this film. Nobody asked you. My longest day has been 22 hours, and that has happened multiple times. I realize that sounds like an exaggeration, especially because for the periods of that I was shooting another film or raising my 4 children. Girl, please. Girl, please. Give the nannies the credit they deserve. And where is your husband? Where is your husband? Why isn't he raising them kids? Jesus Christ. But anyone on this post process will verify this is unfortunately true. Been sleeping on an average 1.5 to 3 hours a night for over 2 months to get this film recut, reworked, and done. Nobody asked you to do all that. I worked with the film's original editor, Ona, for 10 days. Nobody asked you to do all that. I worked with my own editors. Nobody asked you. I brought a new composer. Nobody asked you. Nobody asked you. You wanted all that power. You did that because this is what you wanted. Nobody asked you. It didn't need that. I brought on a new composer. I hand-selected 90% of the songs. Nobody cares. I worked with Spring, the head of Clarence at Sony, on a song budget. Nobody cares. Nobody asked you for that. I've worked with our sound engineer. I worked with our sound designer. I've worked with our music editor. I've been on Zoom for cast ADR sessions. I've been working with VFX. I've been working with the graphics. I've been working with legal. From now on, we're going to pretend this is tequila, okay? I'm not even a big drinker, but I need it. She's driven me to drink. So every time I drink this, tequila. I appealed to Columbia to grant Isabella Ferrer the introducing card, making only the 6th time they've granted that title in the 100-year history. Ah, so that's how you got Isabella. You were like, I got this. I could do this for you, babes. All you have to do is when I call, pick up. When I say jump, you say how high. When I say crawl, you drop to the floor. Does that rhyme a little bit? A little bit. I brought the author of the book that the film is based on into the fold, involving her intimately in the edit. Colleen, baby, do you like being a puppet? Do you like being a puppet? I pushed for 3 test screenings of the cut I was asked to execute. Nobody asked you. Nobody asked you for a cut. You wanted a cut. The cut I was asked to execute and oversee so I could capture audience feedback and scores. First of all, saying you oversaw it is crazy. Sony was already doing that. You just, this is crazy. This lady is nuts. Oh my God. I also had multiple calls with distributors for the film, Screen Engine. I would personally read 100 pages of every booklet and scorecards. Jesus Christ. I re edited the film each time, utilizing the learnings from the audience. I held my own friends and family tests with the top filmmakers I know, asking for their input. The cut of the film that I led was selected version. No, you made them use your cut that you made yourself that nobody asked for. To say you were asked to make a cut is a bold-faced lie. To say they used your cut is a bold-faced lie. They wanted Justin's cut. You said no. You and your puppet Colleen said no. Marketing. Starting with the initial trailer, I called a meeting with Josh, president of Sony, in February, the entire blah, blah, blah. I'm not doing that. Once they submitted the trailer, you pretty much threatened them. If they don't do this, you won't submit the trailer. You should tell them that. You threatened the entire process. I personally secured Taylor Swift. That holds no weight now. We know you plotted and planned together. Speak with marketing and PR at Sony no less than 5 times a day, and they hated every minute of those calls. For 2 months now, I often have Zooms with upwards of 10 people on their team. They hated every single one of them. None of them wanted to fucking talk to you. I'm working closely with international teams. I'm working closely with the digital team. I'm working with the publishing site on the book covers. I helped to design the first major PR marketing, Jesus Christ, with her, the thing they went to Book Bonanza for. This part, to me, is nuts. When my co-star had a scheduling conflict and had to drop out of the event, I got on a phone separately with him, his agent and publicist, to get him back on board. They're talking about Book Bonanza. I got our cast and author to help me personally introduce all 14 theaters screening of the film. I bought patches myself on Amazon. The patches you ironed on your jeans have made it into the PGA letter ask. I bought patches myself on Amazon to hand out to fans to match our outfits as a PR push. You dummy. You dumb dummy. I identified and bought on a photographer, Jade Green, to capture the weekend. I think brought on, not bought. Bought is crazy. I helped build a creative content day. I reviewed and approved the influencers we collabed with. Again, because you thought you were bigger than the program. You needed to feel that. You felt Taylorish in that moment, like I approved of everybody. I personally styled this part, pissed me off. And if Isabella Farah, ill. I would be pissed off if somebody put this out in the street. I personally styled my co-star Isabella Farah because she didn't have clothes for the shoot. Isabella Farah got on this movie, got paid, but somehow didn't have clothes for a shoot. She could have walked into TJ Maxx, a Ross, anywhere, and she could have found some clothes. No, you wanted to treat her like a puppet, and she let it happen. You saying you dressed her like you did something great is annoying. No, you wanted to use her as a puppet, and she allowed herself to be used as a puppet. Congratulations to both of you, but it's not what you think it is. I've led the conversation to get started on a China cut. I'm helping to oversee the set being built for our content days. I've been on the phone with cast representatives. I've reached out to sponsors to host the screening. I've personally reached out to, oh God. And I still have months ahead of me to finish this film in both what you see on the screen as well as how we sell it to the audience the world over. As much as this tag means to me, and it means everything, what I am in fight of most is the film being as great as it can possibly be. So ultimately, that's taken all my most eloquent energy. I think you get the idea though. They're not your friends. Why are you talking to them like they're children? As promised, I'm including letters below from 16 department heads. Keep in mind, Jamie Heath is not there at this point. To be clear, while asking to be granted a PGA mark, I do believe both Alex and Jamie should keep their PGA mark. Like they need your permission to keep their mark. Like, oh, give me mine and take theirs away. Like you needed to grant them permission. This lady is nuts. They were both there every single day in every meeting and decision. At this time, you will not find a letter from the director, Justin Baldoni, or the PJ producer, Jamie Heath. Jamie and Justin will not be contesting my mark. That sounds very, very threat-like. Will not be contesting my mark. They just, as of this moment, won't be writing a letter to you like the rest of the department heads did. The department heads that you held at Pew Pew Point. Okay. I imagine if you reach out to them, they would confirm the extent of my involvement. Please don't take my word for it, though. Please take the rest of our department heads below, who you are more than welcome to reach out to at any time. Like telling them what to do is crazy. Please do. Their contact info is included in their letters. Finally, I thank you for reading all of this. It's taken every bit of me practically, logistically, creatively, and emotionally. So thank you for considering this. I also know and appreciate, again, this is not how the PJ, again, stop with the excuses. I wish I was given the credit for my work sooner. I was able to be given a fresh shot at applying right away. I know the precedent is important. And on that, my dear friend Bradley Cooper, she's name dropping now. My dear friend Bradley Cooper gave me a pep talk about pushing for this sighting. And he told me I could mention that she is a fucking child. That similar situation happened to him on Nightmare Alley. He was hired as an actor, but ended up extensively producing the film. Babe, Bradley Cooper's situation has nothing to do with what we know you do. This is your MO. You've told us is your MO. You get hired as an actor with no intentions of just being an actor. You go there waiting to cause a ruckus. A terrorist is what you are. He was hired as an actor, but ended up extensively producing the film. And a month before the release, he was given a producer credit. He applied for a Hail Mary PGA mark with the support of the film's crew and was granted. So I'm hoping, you know what's crazy about this? Is had Blake been a human person and acted like a human with a brain with a squishy thing between her ears, right? And treated everybody with respect and had actually gave input in this movie the proper way Justin wanted to work with her from the beginning, this would have been an easy mark to get. Justin and Jamie would have very, very easily applied, like added her in to get the mark when they were all getting their marks. But no, you decided to jump on their necks and jump down your throat and shove every decision down your throat. When you didn't get what you wanted right away, you were like, oh, how can I make their lives miserable? SH. Let's throw a little SH around like it's nothing. That's why you're having a hard time. That's why you had to write this ridiculous novel. So I'm hoping and praying that it's possible here as well. As a woman in this industry, shut up, please. You get your uterus out of the fucking conversation for once. Take your vagina out of the conversation for once. Let your brain do the work. As a woman in this industry for 20 years and a mother of 3 daughters, shut the fuck up, please. Shut the fuck up, please. A big reason I'm pushing to be acknowledged truthfully and accurately. I'm not doing that. Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely fucking not. The whole woman thing pisses me off again. No. As a person with a uterus, I'm offended that you keep using your fucking uterus to get in the room. Get over it. I'm done with it. I implore you, the Producers Guild of America, to look into all the facts here. Please don't take my word for it. And I hope they hadn't taken your fucking word for it. Please do the work. I'm sorry. Do the work. Please do the work. Oh my God, please. We're going to jump again. I hope you will join me in standing for what's right and true with regard to who has earned the PJ mark for this film. Almost as though like, yeah, Jamie doesn't deserve it. While we still have time, we lock and ship picture eminently. So I thank you for your attention to this such limited time. It's in your hands now. I can sleep well knowing I did all I can do. Thank you again for your time and consideration with respect and gratitude. Blake Lively Reynolds. Get the fuck out of here. There's Alex Sachs' letter. I'm not reading that. There's letters from Tobias. There's letters from Todd. There's letters from 16 department heads that I'm not getting into, and I truly don't care to get into. I've truly never seen anything quite like it. You know how they say don't judge a book by its cover, don't judge a person by their cover? I truly believe that because I think as bad as it looks, as bad as you think it is, there is always potential for things to be worse than what they look like. And that's the case for Blake Lively. As bad as you thought she was, as bad of a person as you would have thought she was, as bad of a situation you would have thought this is, there was always potential for it to be worse. And this evidence coming out shows us that. And there's more to come. We are expecting to get our emails that span over a year, right? We're also expecting to see, to hear some voice notes, some phone calls that were recorded, some memos. So I can't wait to hear all that with you guys. I'm so sorry I had to put you guys through that, but I couldn't suffer by myself. We have to do this together, which is why this video is going to be a good 30 minutes or some change, but like unbelievable. It's actually kind of amazing how thoughtless this woman is and how full of herself she truly is. You can't fake this kind of narcissism. You can't fake it. To be a woman in this industry for 20 years and know how to write a letter to the PG and get recommendations, but not how to write a letter to SAG or contact SAG about your supposed SH is mind-blowing. You should have known what to do. You didn't do it. You had no proof because nothing happened. At every point, you turned around on this set and all you wanted was power. You were not looking for comfort. You were not looking for freedom. You were looking for power. And you showed your ass here. The last Hail Mary you could have thrown was to SAG, but no, you looked at the PGA for that. And I can't wait for a jury to see this. If this gets through motion for summary judgment and this is something that can push forward, I think this is one of the biggest pieces of evidence the Wayfair parties have to show that not only did Blake Lively have all the power on that set, she was never ever meant to feel small. She was never treated shitty. She ran the show, according to her. She ran the show. She knew when to step in. She knew when to oversee things. She was the choir director, okay? But somehow, if everything went great, it was her doing. When things went bad, somehow it's Justin and Jamie. But I think we've all come far enough in this case where we know left from right and we know right from wrong. So this letter here to me is just, I can't wait for a jury to get their hands on this because I think this will be a very, very big deal come trial. And I'll be there to let you guys know if it does show up at trial and how the jury reacts to it when Blake Lively is asked about these things, considering she will be her own star witness. The woman truly believes she's the main character, and I love that for her. I appreciate you for sticking around. I know this was a horrible video to sit through. I can't believe I made you guys sit through this, but I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. Please remember to like again, share, subscribe, leave a comment, type the video. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye-bye.